Slow down, moving that body. Got a melody and something. Baby girl, not the lose. Yo, what's up guys, BeatsbyHcien, cause this is your first time, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to get that nice crisp vocal mix using free VST plugins. And without wasting much time, let's get straight into the video. So yeah, before we start the mix, we want to first of all have three things in mind, three important things you want to have in mind before you start any mix you're working on. Okay, and the first is definitely going to be, you want to make sure you have a very good recorded vocals, like I always say in all my videos, because trust me guys, a good vocal can also make or break your mix. So you want to make sure you take your time to record the artist or yourself if you're recording yourself, and make sure you have a very good, well recorded vocal. Yeah, the next thing you want to have in mind is that you want to make sure that you take your time to always revisit your mix. Okay, so you want to take the first mix like this one that I just did, or I'm going to be showing you guys. I'm going to take it as my first mix for the particular project. Then maybe the next day I can come back to it and listen to the mix and see what I can improve in this. Don't just mix the first mix and feel like, yeah, that's all. Trust me guys, because sometimes you can come back the next day and you figure out, oh, some things that you didn't hear before, and you can, you know, sort it all out. So that is why I always advise, make sure you're ready to come back to your mix the next day, and don't just feel like I'll mix it once and I'm done with it. Yeah, the final thing you want to always put in mind as well is, as much as you're coming back to your mix, you want to also know that over tweaking can spoil the mix. When you're looking for that perfection, looking for that perfect mix, you end up spoiling the mix because of too much tweaking. So you want to make sure you make the beats or the vocals sound as nice as you can. You know, don't stress yourself. You get better over time the more you keep doing this. So it's good to always revisit your beat, or it's good to always revisit your mix, but make sure you don't keep over tweaking it and fall into that loop where you keep tweaking and tweaking till you ruin the mix. So you want to put these three things in mind. With that being said, let's walk into the mix and show you guys what this mix is all about. And shout out to DJ Spence. He's a music producer who is recording his journey. You can go click on the description to follow his YouTube page. You know, he's documenting his journey, and he was one that produced this track, sent it to me, and I laid my vocals. And you can also click the link in the description to go stream it as well. And this is what the vocals sounded like without all the effects. Can you make a bad man go crazy? Shutting me down for you. I'm in love with you. That was what it sounded like, and this was what it sounded like when we put in our effects. Can you make a bad man go crazy? Shutting me down for you. I'm in love with you. So let's dive in and let me show you guys all I did to achieve all of this. And for the auto, the first thing you want to do, like I always say when you are mixing, is to go in and clean your vocals. And as you can see over here, I went in and I did clean the vocals. You know, you want to take out excesses and things that you don't want, especially the background noise and all of that. You want to make sure you go in and take it all out. So after I've done that, and this one, I'm going to be trying as much as possible not to be adding too many plugins for this particular mix, which is what I actually did. The first thing I added was an auto tune, and if you have a stock auto tune that works for you, perfect. I tried the Ableton auto tune shift, but some reason I wasn't really feeling it, so this is the only paid plugin that I'm going to be using. I'm sorry about that, and we can always use free, because I believe some VST, some DAWs have great auto tuning. Not saying that Ableton auto tuning is not good though, but for this particular work I wasn't feeling it. And you want to make sure you put your auto tune, whatever auto tuning plugin you're using, you want to make sure is in the key of the song. I see many people making this mistake where they just set their auto tune key to a random key. Your tuning plugin should go to the key of the beat. After you've done that, the next thing I'm using is a TDR Nova, and this is a free EQ where you can go get it. I have all the links of the VST plugins that I use in my Telegram channel. You want to make sure you go join that and get all the links. So the first thing you want to do is you want to roll off like from 80, hundreds, you know, you want to roll off below these 10 20 hertz parts, because they are like the lows and they are not necessarily needed in the vocals. So if you click on the high pass, you can see the frequency, 133 hertz. Anything from around 80 upwards is okay for me. Depends on the vocal texture you have. So you want to roll all the way from 80 and use your ear to figure out what works. And after I've done the roll off, the next thing I do is go into my frequencies and pick out the boxiness of the frequency using my EQ, in this case Nova. And I'm going into the 200 hertz to the 400 hertz, and I'm just going in there trying to take out frequencies that I don't necessarily like. You can see around the 479. In some cases, I can take it up to 500 hertz, and all I just do is take something up like this, then sweep around, and when I get this boxiness, I take it out. Let me show you what this sounded like on this particular frequency. Can you make a bad man go crazy? Shutting me down for you. Girlie, I'm in love with you. Move to the rhythm, get left, right. If you can listen carefully, you would be able to be hearing this NASA feel, and I had to like take them out, and those were like the things that I did take out. And if you want to get the low pass or high pass, you just have to click this. It gives you the high pass, and you sweep. If you want to get low pass, you click this. Then you have 4 knobs where you can go in and pick frequencies that you don't like. So when you've taken out the frequency, what we're doing first of all is subtractive EQing. So you want to solve the problem before you start adding whatever you want to add, okay? So when we've done the old EQing stuff and taking out the frequencies, the next thing I added was this. I tried using the Lala. Yeah, so I tried using the Lala, which is like a CLA compressor, but I wasn't really liking what it was doing. So I'm using the stock compressor right here, and yeah. And all I'm just basically doing is looking for the highest part of the vocals and the lowest part of the vocals. And personally, I just take the threshold in between. So what I'm just trying to tell the compressor is at the loudest part, bring it down a bit, the lowest part, bring it up. So the essence of compressor is to even out the dynamics. And that's what I'm just doing here. Fast attack and a kind of a fast, slow release. I always advise if you're using singing vocals, you can use a little bit of a slow release and a fast attack to grab the vocals and hold it a bit. Then for rap, fast attack, fast release, like I always advise. And that's just what I'm using this compressor to do, and you can hear it right now. Can you make a bad man go crazy? Shutting me down for you. Girlie, I'm in love with you. Yes, I'm having -1, -2. Then I just add the compensation by adding a makeup gain 1 or 2. In this case, I made it 1 because, yeah, that's what I wanted. And after you've done, like I said, the ratio most of the times for vocals, you can put it 2:1, 3:1. And in this case, I'm using 3:1. Yeah, for my release, like I said, fast release and a kind of a slow medium. For my attack, I mean fast attack, and a slow medium release is what I am doing. And you can hear what it sounds like. Can you make a bad man go crazy? Shutting me down for you. Girlie, I'm in love with you. And after I did that, I was still noticing a little bit of some, nasal frequency, and I'm using Blend EQ27. Okay, I loaded this in. I know some of you are going to be like, oh my God, what is this? Let me explain. Now, this is categorized into 4 different frequencies. We have the low frequency right here. This frequency is what you use to select the lows. This is what you use to increase the gain, which is just like this knob like this. Let me have a representation if I can. Yeah, this gain knob is doing the same thing as this. So when you take the gain up, you are increasing this. When you take the gain down, you are reducing this. That's what this gain is for this. And as you can see, like I said, they are all separated into different frequencies. Low frequency, which has the frequency, the gain, and the blend. Then we had low mid, the same settings. Then we have the high mid, then we have the high. Then we have the high pass filter, which is just basically doing this. Then we have the low pass filter, which is just doing the shelf. So that is what this is about. So I don't want you to get confused anytime you load an analog VST plugin and you're like confused. So what I just did here, I left the gain. Like I said, I noticed that muddiness. So I came into the mid parts and I took it to the 1.6 frequency, the 1.6 parts, and what I just did was to reduce the gain a bit from that particular side because I felt like this side was giving that low mid. Let me check it up so you'd see better. You would hear better.
Lowest. Stop it when you shake it and stop. Can you say I'm into you? I mean, I want that body close.
You can see you can get that little bit of NASA feel, so I had to take it down.
Lowest. Stop it when you shake it and stop. Can you say I'm into you? I mean, I want that body close. Love the way that you then move your.
And after I did that, I also went into the low, the low mid itself, and I picked a 7 and I increased that part a bit just to give the vocal a little bit of lows. Then I came into the high pass and I just took this up to 128, and that is what I did. Don't ever watch a video or a mixing video and you're just jotting down numbers. Because I put mine in 128 doesn't mean you should put yours in 128. The key to EQing is knowing a particular frequencies, which I'm going to see display on your screen. Know the particular frequencies that do a particular thing. So when you're looking for a problem, you don't just pick a number. You go into the range of those frequencies and try to sort it out. So that's why I'm trying my best not to start calling figures for you, but instead understand what the EQ does. The low mid, the high mid, and the high. Most of the time, the muddiness, you get them the 400, 200 to 500 hertz in the low mid part of things. You see all the description in those video below. So that is what you should take down. Okay, so that was what I used this blend EQ for, to sort out that muddy frequency and to also make that vocals get a little bit of crispiness. And after I did that, I'm using OTT. This works for me as a multi-band compressor, and I'm just using this as well to do a little bit of parallel compression. Yeah, that's what I'm using it to do technically. And when you load it in, it's going to be somewhere, I think, to the highest.
Lowest. Stop it when you shake it.
And that's too much for me, so I just dropped it all the way down to 19%. The mix knob, this was the only thing I touched, and I just did it to taste. And this is what helps to give that crispy feel.
Lowest. Stop it when you shake it and stop.
Always mix to your beats. Don't mix your vocals on solo, so that you're mixing it into the song and not just mix it. Because sometimes when you mix the vocals, it might sound nice on its own. Then when you bring it into the mix, you realize that it's not making sense. So make sure you're mixing the vocals to the song. And like I said, this particular video, I'm just showing you steps that you can use to achieve these crisp vocals using free VST plugins, because sometimes I come back to this mix and I figure out like, oh, there's a problem, I sort it out. Okay, so
lowest. Stop it when you shake it and stop. Can you say I'm into you? I mean, I want that body close. Love the way that you then move your lowest. Can you make a bad man go crazy?
So I think I like what it's sounding like. Then I added loads, and this is what I'm using for my de-essing, and it's also a free VST plugin by Analog Obsession. You can see I'm using most of Analog Obsession because these guys, they really have one of the best free VST plugins. And for this one, what I always do is I put this to soft. Then the threshold is what you start bringing down till you can hear those S's, going off a bit. You don't want to overdo this, because I noticed the more you keep taking this down, it's taking out that richness of the vocal. So you want to be careful with this if you're using free VST plugin like this.
Lowest. Stop it when you shake it and stop. Can you say I'm into you? I mean, I want that body close. Love the way that you then move your lowest. Can you make a bad man go crazy? Shutting me down for you. Girl, I'm in love with you. Move to the rhythm, girl, left, right. Track that your body, girl, no time.
And that's what I did for that, for my DSR. I was planning to use a normal Ableton DSR. Check that out, but I wasn't liking what that was sounding like. And after I've done that, as you can see, first clean the vocals, subtractive EQ, fixing the problem. Then we come into the compressor, trying to even out the dynamics. Then we come into blend EQ. This is where we are adding the particular kind of vocal texture we want for this particular song, because how I'm sounding here is not how I might be sounding in another song based on how I want that particular songs to sound like. So you want to first of all solve the problems before you start adding whatever you want to add. Then this OTT is what I used to get at crispiness. Like I said, I just use it, the depth, the reduce it a bit, and I'm using a delay, and this is also free. This is one of my, I think this is a must-have free delay for anyone looking for a very good free delay plugin. And I just basically increase the spread a bit. This is what makes the whole delay to have a wider spread. Then for the wet, you can see I'm putting it around this figure. Then my timing 1/2, some low chords, and add a little bit of tape, and this is what we have.
Stop it when you shake it non-stop. Can you say I'm into you? And me, I want that body close. Love the way that you dey move your lowest. Can you make a bad man go crazy? Shutting me down for you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, and for my reverb, I put it in a return track. The reason being, I wanted to be able to have full control of this particular reverb and take out a little bit of lows, because sometimes the reverb can give muddiness in the low ends of things, and I just had to make it a little bit clear. And the free plugin I'm using is called the Magic 7 True Stereo Reverb Processor. Like I said, all these links are in my Telegram channel, and for my settings around there, I'm using the free reverb calculator right here. And what I just did was when you load it in, it automatically syncs with your DAW and get the BPM that you need, 107. And I just wanted to use the large room 35.0 pre-delay, which is what I just did here. And yeah, this is what you have.
Stop it when you shake it non-stop. Can you say I'm into you? And me, I want that body close. Love the way that you dey move your lowest. Can you make a bad?
Added a little bit of air around the side and took a little bit of lows, just a bit, but this is where I did most of the EQing.
Stop it when you shake it non-stop. Can you say I'm into you? And me, I want that body close. Love the way that you dey move your lowest. Can you make a bad man go crazy? Shutting me down for you. Girlie, I'm in love with you. Move to the rhythm, girl, left, right. Track that your body, girl, no time. Move that your body, go low.
And we started from here.
Stop it when you shake it non-stop. Can you say I'm into you?
And this is what we were able to get at the end of the day.
Stop it when you shake it non-stop. Can you say I'm into you? And me, I want that body close. Love the way that you dey move your lowest. Can you make a bad man go crazy? Shutting me down for you. Girlie, I'm in love with you. Move to the rhythm.
And as you can see, guys, all of these are just basically free. Just make sure you watch this video over and over again. If you're having any confusion or if you have any questions, let me know in the description, in the comment section rather, and I'll try my best to always answer like I do. So this is just a video and you can see how I use free VST plugins. That's why sometimes you have to make sure you use what you have, because it is not the tools most of the time, but who is using the tool. And like I said, this is just the first mix. I can come back another day and figure out, okay, this or that is wrong, and I can sort it out. So make sure you follow those 3 guidelines I gave you in the beginning. I just wanted to make a video and show you guys how to get crisp vocals with the free VST plugins. And yeah, make sure you go stream this song in the description, and make sure you go follow DJ Spence as well, so that you can encourage him in his journey. And yeah, so I'll catch you guys in the next video. Remember to always stay productive. Peace.